Well, good afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining us today. I'm going to quickly tell you why I think Japan is one of the best exploration destinations on the planet, and then take you through a quick whirlwind tour through Japan. And for those of you that haven't been there, I'll try and make it insightful. Forward-looking statements. Japan is a very interesting country. It's, as probably most of you know, it's geopolitically one of the safest places on the planet. It has a rich, high-grade gold production history dating right back to the 7th century. But one of the important things that happened was that in 1943, the 76 active gold mines in the country closed. And they were closed by the government in order to move the miners into the base metal mines and factories to support the war effort. So 64 mines of the 76 mines remain closed today. In 2012, there was a change in the mining law in Japan that allowed foreign companies for the first time in the country's history to come into Japan. And this was an important change in the country's attitude, and Japan Gold was the first company to go to Japan. There's a very well-established regulatory framework. The government has been very, very supportive and easy to engage with. Very importantly for us as explorers, there's a very detailed, thorough, relevant database on all the 64 closed mines and the other historic production figures, and we've been able to fully access the Japanese government database. And probably most importantly, it's been completely underexplored from our perspective, very limited drilling throughout the country. Again, the background I've provided to you, that the 1943 closure. So we'll move on now to talk about Japan Gold. Japan Gold has the first mover advantage. We were the first company in the world to go to Japan, a full 2.5 years before we saw another company come in. We were very careful to review all the historic databases, to review the figures, and to identify the key areas in the country that we wanted to follow up on. We currently have 12 gold projects throughout the country. We also, along the way, partnered with 3 universities, and one of the universities we co-studied lithocaps or potential porphyry opportunities in Japan, of which there's never been a discovery of that type. And we identified 5 areas throughout the country that were prospective, and we acquired all 5 of those. We've got drilling commencing on our first 2 major projects in June of this year, and we're very much looking forward to that. And we have strategic investor Newmont Gold Corp at 19.9% and 2 large institutional groups. A quick tour through Japan. So here we go. The North Island is called Hokkaido, the Central Island is called Honshu, and the Southern Island is called Kyushu. The red ovals on this map are highlighting the areas of high-grade gold production historically. Hitch Akari, I'll talk about just in a moment, but the 12 mines that opened up after the Second World War are listed starting with Sato and below. And the takeaway here is just going across the columns. There was significant gold production at high grades throughout Japan, and all the mines were closed by the mid-1970s. After that time, it was a dormant period until 1981, and this is important. In 1981, there was nobody in Japan looking for gold except the Geological Survey. All the major companies had gone abroad and were bringing assets back to Japan. And the Geological Survey was on the southern island of Kyushu on some Sumitomo metal mining ground, drilling a stratigraphic hole, just a scientific hole, through the volcanic package to see how thick it was to the basement. They drilled under 4 little historic mines and went down 200 meters. And there at the basement volcanic interface, they encountered one of the richest gold mines in the world, the Hitch Akari gold mine. The initial resource, 8.4 million ounces at 47.3 grams per ton. They've mined 7.6 million ounces to date, and there's significant reserves remaining. These are low sulfidation epithermal gold deposits. And our 12 gold projects, those are the targets across our 12 gold projects. The important takeaway from our portfolio is that under our 12 gold projects, we have 42 of the closed gold mines, of the 64 closed gold mines. They're all low sulfidation epithermal targets. The other gold mines, a number of them were different types of targets or different types of projects. Here's just a quick map showing our projects. In yellow are gold, in red are lithocaps. We'll move to the southern island of Kyushu. Now we're going to move even quicker, so I ask you to keep up with me. In the southern island or the southern portion of Kyushu, in one of the light green areas, that particular area is one of the 2 gold provinces, and in the center of it, that's where the Hitch Akari mine is located. There are also a number of important high-grade past producers in that area as well. We have 2 projects, the Ora-Tecate project, which is our feature project for this year, and the Tubaru project. And further north in that gold province, outlined in red, is the Kamatsui lithocap project. This is just a quick zoom in of that area around the Hitch Akari mine. And again, the takeaway is that there's been significant production of over 10 million ounces of high-grade gold in that area. And our project, the Ora-Tecate project, lies at the south end. I'm going to focus you on that now. This is the Ora-Tecate project. The central portion of the project has 3 small, shallow, historic mines that were mined out and closed in 1943. And then we ultimately expanded our view to 2 further areas, one to the northeast and another one to the southwest, so that we're fully across about a 7.5-kilometer trend covering the 5 mines. This year, and starting in June, under those 3 mines, the Arushi, Tecate, and Ora mines, we're going to be drilling holes down to what we think is the optimal depth window to identify high-grade gold discoveries at approximately 200 to 250 meters. And so we have our pilot programs coming up very, very shortly, and we're looking forward to getting the drill spinning. We're now going to move 1,600 miles north to the island of Hokkaido. We're looking at the light green highlighted area, which is called the Khatami Metalgenic province. There's 2 grabens that are highlighted there that have the positive geology, and 9 of our 10 epithermal gold projects in Hokkaido are within that Khatami Metalgenic province. The large producer there was the Kitano mine, another Sumitomo metal mining asset that stopped producing in the mid-1970s but produced over 2.35 million ounces. On the right-hand side, the right-hand side of that Khatami Metalgenic province is a project that's highlighted called the Akutahara project. We're going to focus pretty much the balance of our discussion on that. The Akutahara project, you can see highlighted here, and basically the takeaways are that this is approximately 200 square kilometers. It covers over 17 high-grade underground gold mines or significant workings that have never had a drill hole put into them, and there's only 3 scientific drill holes in this particular area. We've done extensive work across here, all of the initial rock chip sampling, stream sediment analysis, blagging, geophysics, et cetera, to really try and evaluate the area. And one of the things that we've identified is in that red oval. We call that red oval the Kitano Gold District, named after the Kitano mine, which is the only surface expression there. In that area, there are 6 mines, and they run approximately 6 kilometers north-south and about 2 kilometers east-west in an arc around that buff-colored feature there, the Maruyama Dome. We've determined that these are all part of one big system, and we're very excited to be drilling that this year. So we're going to be drilling at the Kitano mine. Just to describe the Kitano mine to you, it's not an underground mine. It's a very, very large hill that historically a large, thick sinter blanket was discovered over the top of it, and immediately underneath that was a thick clay layer that was running about 6 grams per ton. That was in the 1920s into the 1930s. Ultimately, 10,000 people moved to this small town. They started to take off the top of the hill, and they put it through a 500-ton-a-day facility. The 500-ton-a-day facility was expanding to 2,000 tons a day in 1943. When the government shut down the mine, it was abandoned, and no one's ever gone back. And so it's a wonderful project for us to target this year. These are just some of the rocks that have been taken from the Kitano Gold District. They're attractive rocks, obviously. They're classic epithermal textures, and there are high-grade gold in those rocks. This is interesting for the geologists that are here in the audience. This is something that Dick Silito, Dr. Richard Silito, did in 1992, which was his classic epithermal model. And his classic epithermal model actually was designed over the Kitano Gold District. So our exploration has actually validated and confirmed his sketch. Here I am standing at the top of the Kitano Hill. There is a sinter blanket you can see there, so horizontally layered quartz blanket, and beneath that is the gold that was being mined. The company is undertaking a significant phase 1 program where we're going to drill across the top of the Kitano Hill for approximately 1.2 kilometers to target the veins and the feeder zones that we think are located in the middle of that hill. There was one drill hole drilled here from the top of the sinter where I'm standing right through to the basement, and it was approximately 700 meters to basement, so there's a very thick package for us to be drilling into. This is a sketch that shows West Kitano, Central Kitano, and East Kitano, and the 1.2 kilometers that we're going to be drilling this year. At the bottom of this sketch shows in the purple the top of the hill that had been taken off, the vertical hole down to 700 meters, and the scissored holes that we're going to be drilling across the hill to try and identify those feeder zones. We'll be drilling 3,000 meters, as I mentioned, in a series of holes there. We've got a very experienced set of leadership with this company. Our board of directors is outstanding, and one of the key people I would point out is Mr. Yamada, who is formerly the chief executive of Sumitomo Corporation, their global minerals division. In terms of our executive team, Takashi Kuriyama was the former head of global exploration for Sumitomo Metal Mining. He was also previously the chief geologist and general manager at the Hitch Akari mine, so he's a Kyushu expert. Doug Kerwin and Steve Garwin are our two advisors, and I think they'd probably be well known to both, or to everybody in the group here. In terms of strengths, first mover advantage, we're in a wonderfully safe jurisdiction that has been completely underexplored and has been in a time capsule since 1943. Our team has a proven track record of exploring, building, and validating mining companies that we've built. We have a strong set of geologists and team members that are experienced in Japan. And we have set up very organized bases on Hokkaido and in Kyushu. We've also have an office in Tokyo. We have 4 diamond core drill rigs that we've imported into country, and we have 18 work permits for international expert drillers to come in and operate our rigs, with our project starting shortly. Finally, our share structure, 32% is held by management, 19.9% is held by Newmont Gold Corp, RCF at 8.8%, 2 $300 billion Japanese funds managed by BlackRock at 8.8%, and the public float at 30%. Thank you.